We're going to bring some sunshine into your life right now because we're going to tell you all about a special movie presentation that's going to be happening at the Canton Palace Theatre, thanks to our friends at Canton Regency. And first, we'll bring in Krissa Reese from the Canton Regency. She's the Director of Sales and Marketing. Hi, Krissa.
Good morning.
Also, we have with us on our WHBC Newsline this morning, I guess we call him the documentarian, Stephen Loring. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Great to chat with you.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm going to start with Stephen because I want him to explain about the movie that will be at the Palace Theatre called The Age of Love. How did this come about? And give us a little idea of what it is.
Sure. Well, just a quick explanation. It's a film that follows the adventures of 30 people 70 to 90 years old who sign up for a speed dating event in hopes of finding new connections and see where it goes in life. People who are in the older generation who perhaps have been out of the dating game for a while, but their hearts are still beating. And I thought once I found the story that I would follow them and see what happens and see what they had to say and what love was like at that point in life. So your other question is what brought it about.
Yeah.
It was really kind of interesting. I had no experience in this topic or training. It was just a really personal project. Two things happened in my life that got me started. One was that my dad passed away, and it happened rather suddenly, and it left my mom, who was in her early 70s, really without her soulmate of 50 years. And I just remember one night sitting at the kitchen table with her, filling out financial papers, and she suddenly said to me, "So is that it? That nobody is ever going to hug me or hold me or touch me again in all the years I have left?" And she said, for 50 years I was part of a team, and as of this moment, I'm just another, as she put it, another old lady in the world alone. And I was stunned. I was doing everything a good son was supposed to do, but realized I hadn't really understood what was most important in her heart. And second thing, just briefly, my 78-year-old uncle never married or had kids or never been on a date as far as we knew. He decided to move into a senior residential community, and within 3 weeks had met Evelyn, who was 80, and they really were kind of off to the races in a full physical, emotional, spiritual love affair. And I'm watching this and going, well, been on this earth for 8 decades alone, and you still have the capacity to open up, to share yourself, the desire to have this kind of a relationship. And I could see that the stereotype in our society that older people are kind of beyond that. I mean, here were two people in my own family who were both struggling with, as you could say, like matters of the heart at a time when people say, well, that's cute, or that doesn't really happen. And I thought they couldn't be the only people in the world who were dealing with this. And I thought it was time to look into the story a little more.
Yeah, because people of that age group many times say, we feel like we've become invisible and
Exactly.
and disappear. And so, but the need to be loved, and it doesn't change no matter how old you are, I would imagine, right?
It doesn't change. I mean, there's that Woody Allen line, the heart is a very resilient little muscle. I mean, ageism is alive and well in our society, and the older people seeking love has really been the punchline, for decades. But, to open people's eyes and show them that, nobody I talk to, I have to say, saw themselves as old inside. Women would say, I look in the mirror and I'm startled because I think I'm still 25 or 30 years old. And when they realize, that society judges them differently, sometimes they start judging themselves differently. They decide, well, maybe I am beyond this. And yet loneliness is not a great option. And they, reaching out and trying something different, when people are living to be 100 years old and being healthy, you can't just be alone. So it's a new world in a lot of ways.
Yeah, my best friend often says, "How are your kids like 37 years old? I'm still 37."
There you go.
Yeah, and I say, "I know. That's how I feel too. It's kind of crazy." But so when you were doing this whole thing, did anything surprise you? Anything catch you off guard?
Well, a lot of things probably. I mean, one thing is just we were just referring to. I mean, I had to go out and get releases. This is a real event. It's a documentary film. It wasn't cast with, interesting people. I didn't really know who was going to sign up. They just put the word out, and the first 15 men and 15 women in the community who signed up were the cast. So yeah. I thought, well, I had my own ageist assumptions probably at that point, and I thought, well, they're probably a little embarrassed. They hadn't, told their friends or their children that they're going out speed dating. They're not going to want their faces up on screens all over the world, and it probably isn't going to happen, And so I took the list of people. I thought it was too good of an idea to pass up, and I started calling them and just saying, I'm a documentary filmmaker. I'm not trying to make fun of anyone. I'm looking just for guides into the hearts of older people. And immediately, people started telling me, all these years I've been alone, no one's ever asked me, what's in my heart. Why wouldn't I want to talk to you? Bring your camera and come over. And within, I think, 3 days of getting this list, every speed dater, all 30 of these people, these just regular suburban folks, signed the release and decided to appear in the film. And it was shocking to me because you never know what you're going to get when you just start, you come up with an idea or start filming. But I knew then that there was a story to be told because the people weren't embarrassed, but they actually seemed to be pleading with me, to be heard and understood. And I realized that a movie like this could really have a positive impact on a lot of older people's lives.
So I want to connect the dots now to the Canton Regency. And as I said, Krissa Reese from the Canton Regency is with us. Krissa, tell us now, what is your part and the Canton Regency's part in all of this?
Well, I hope that people see this film and recognize themselves in it. I hope they feel a nudge to say, I still have room in my life for connection. So we're not only hosting the documentary, but we're also hosting a speed dating event at the Regency 2 weeks later on December 2nd. So we hope that maybe people will find a spark. They might find a friend, or they might just simply laugh a little bit harder than they have in quite some time.
I would also say that if you have a parent in that age group, or aunt or uncle or something like that, you might want to go watch the documentary yourself because it could be very informational and educational for you, right?
What you said was really interesting, actually, and touched on an important point, is that I didn't know who the film would speak to when it came out. Is it just for older people? Does it have something to say to the wider world? And after hundreds and hundreds of screenings all over the world, I mean, the older people see it and they look at it and they go, oh my God, I've never heard people like me who look like me and have my life experience so honestly expressing what they're feeling. It's not Hollywood or not reality TV. It's just people talking about their feelings. The middle-aged people come up and say, I really need to hurry home and call my mom or dad because they've been alone for 10 years. And it just occurred to me, I've never asked them, what's in their heart. Are they lonely?
Yeah.
And when we screen for, teenagers and college students, which we do all the time now, they'll all say, I'll never look at my grandparents the same way again because they never even dreamed that falling in love was something you could do at that age. And so I really encourage everybody to come and check it out and see, how you can start a conversation or make a difference in somebody's life.
Well, I thank both of you for coming on this morning. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.